America, welcome into the Business Pulse. I'm Chuck Barham. We're brought to you by the Freedom Chamber online at freedomchamber.net. You own a small business, you're watching it, tell your friends, join us, freedomchamber.net, the Freedom Chamber. It's good to be back in the chair with these two guys, Rod Martin and Dean Owen. A lot has happened since I've been on the Business Pulse with you guys. I just want to dive in and get right to it, and I want to dive into Rod's gray matter here and extract out everything we can about what we've witnessed in the last, I would say, 48, I will call it 36 hours with Iran and the United States of America and what President Trump has set the stage for. So, Rod, your insight is welcomed.
Well, the most important thing to understand about this 2-week ceasefire, and the thing that the media is simply not reporting anywhere that I can see, is that in exactly 2 weeks, the USS Ford Carrier Strike Group, the USS Bush Carrier Strike Group, and the USS Boxer with its Marine Expeditionary Unit all converge on the Persian Gulf. All of them at the same time. This is not a coincidence. And so the Iranians can negotiate in good faith, or Trump's going to unleash hell. And he couldn't be plainer about it. Now, will they actually play ball? So far, we're not seeing a lot that's promising. Since the ceasefire was announced, they've attacked residential areas in Israel, in the UAE, in Qatar, in Bahrain. They attacked power plants and a desalination plant in Kuwait, and they attacked an oil pipeline in Saudi Arabia. Okay, every one of those countries except Israel is technically at peace with Iran. So how's this looking? And it actually drew a response from the UAE. They struck targets in Iran this morning. So all they're doing is they're ganging the entire region up on themselves, and they're not fooling Trump. Trump will do what Trump thinks best to advance our interests. But the people in the media, especially conservative media, who think that somehow Trump sold out, or Trump changed his aims, or Trump chickened, or whatever they're saying, have they paid any attention to this man for the last decade? It just boggles my mind. So the Iranians are acting exactly as we expected they would. They are proving to the world that they are the problem, and Trump has the tools coming into position. If they keep the ceasefire, if they don't keep the ceasefire, coming into position to be able to deal with them utterly, totally, fatally. Meanwhile, just moments ago, Reza Pahlavi, the crown prince, the Shah-to-be, put out a statement on X. It was pretty strong. It was very clear, what has been accomplished here in the last few weeks is an unprecedented and in many respects unexpected decimation of the power of the regime. We are getting very close to the moment at which the Iranian people can and should rise and take back their country. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
With what you're seeing in the media, you said it exactly right, Rod. You've seen Trump's going to start World War III. He's devastating the civilization too. Trump chickened out. He blinked first. I mean, it flipped that quick.
Oh yeah, 1 minute he is a monster, right, and the next minute he is a chicken. I mean, right, which is it? And it's the exact same people saying both.
Correct.
I've got a new saying.
Go ahead, Dean. Go ahead, bud.
I've got a new definition of taco. Trump always creates opportunities. A much better use of the term taco.
Absolutely true. And note well, didn't I just tell you the Iranians hit Kuwaiti power plants and desalination plant? Okay, that's what all these same people were telling us yesterday would be a monstrous war crime. Not one of them is saying it's a monstrous war crime when Iran does it at all. So some of these people are actually pro-Iran, like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. A lot of these people just hate Donald Trump, and he literally could cure cancer and save puppies from drowning, and somehow it would be a monstrous war crime. So you can't satisfy these people. We just have to cut through it here on the Business Pulse and tell the truth.
Let's look at it from the Joe and Josephine point of view in America right now. I just filled up my gas tank. It was $4.98 a gallon. 3 weeks ago, it was $2.28 a gallon. What's that going to do as we lead ourselves into the midterms? I mean, the midterms are not that far away, but they are that far away. We're in April right now. We've got 4 or 5 months as things really ramp up for the midterms. What's that going to play into the Democrats' hands? Is it going to play in their hands? Is it going to play conservative hands? What's that going to do to the American people as they start thinking about who they need to elect as their representative and their governors moving forward? Where's that come into play with all this? And do you see it being flushed out by then to where gas is back down? Because gas is the thing that everybody gets a hold of and runs with when it's in their pocketbook. So, Dean, what's your thoughts?
I think, there are some things that this president needs to take this and lead this nation through that are going to be painful. This is one of them. But like we talked here a few weeks ago, not all inflation is the same. Real estate inflation, once it gets here, it stays. Food inflation moves slower, but if you got to spend 18 months rebuilding your chicken flock to get egg prices down, 18 months you do it. Oil inflation is like a ping pong ball. We saw it drop 20% today. We're very likely, and I know Rod has said it, I have too, that we are very likely to see oil below $50 a barrel, maybe significantly lower than that when the risk premium is taken off of the insurance for the transportation. And then we're flooding the world with oil from Venezuela. The Middle East is kicked back up. There's some stuff happening in cooking in Alberta that looks like it's going to happen this year. And Alberta is the Texas of the North. And when we're in control of the oil, we're in control of the world. Because if Russia can only sell her oil through us, and China can only buy her oil through us or our proxies, they are not going to invade Taiwan or anywhere else for that matter. And it's a geopolitical realignment where it's commerce, not chaos. I would say the past 75 years has been chaos. Now it's commerce, and it's making an awful lot of sense. But the president has to put us through some of these things. They'll be short term. Probably by the end of May, we're going to see gas prices down below where they were. And when that happens, that'll be the sentiment going into the midterms. I think everything he's doing is setting up for the midterms. And he's thinking 10 or 12 steps ahead of most people and lining it up. I was watching some preliminary poll numbers out from actual people who do real polling. Looks like the Democrats are going to take a bloodbath in the fall. And so it's all stringed together, but we got to go through some pain right now. And every vehicle I drive requires 93 or above octane. So I'm buying all the expensive gasoline. So I get it. It was $100 to fill up the Mercedes the other day. So.
Yes, sir. Rod, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with all of that. And look, oil's down $20 a barrel today. That tells you a lot. And, these prices just aren't terrible compared to Biden. I'm still paying less for gas than I was under Joe Biden. So, okay, this is taking a potentially existential threat off the board. We can pay a little bit higher for gas for a short period of time. It just doesn't matter. But wait, there's more, because first, you solve this problem once and for all, and one of two things happens. You either solve it optimally, where Iran is free, the Strait of Hormuz is clear, and the oil flows without the risk premium we've had that Dean was just talking about really since the 80s. And that does cut oil prices probably into the $50 range ultimately, especially as U.S. production ramps up. We've got a story out on rodmartin.org this morning about the soon-to-be Trans-Alaska natural gas pipeline. That's of tremendous consequence particularly for East Asia. There may be as much as 200 trillion cubic feet of natural gas on the north slope of Alaska. That would make it the third largest natural gas field on planet Earth. And it's just trapped up there because there's no way to get it out. We build this pipeline, we can supply Japan and South Korea and Taiwan and the Philippines and all of these East Asian allies that need safe supply that isn't at risk from various problems in the Middle East. We can supply it, and in the process, we make the money. And that's the beauty of it. We spend money to protect that supply in the form of the U.S. Navy patrolling those sea lanes as it is. The U.S. Navy doesn't have to patrol the sea lanes from Valdez, Alaska to Tokyo. So we cut our expenses, we increase our profits. American enterprise booms, our allies are more secure, and you end up in a position possibly, I wouldn't guarantee this, but I think it's very likely that you end up in a position where the Chinese start buying from us in part, not completely, but in part, because Alaskan supply will end up being cheaper than what they're getting elsewhere once all of this steeply discounted sanctioned oil is off the market. So yeah, the long-term energy picture is actually kind of amazing. The United States dominates that world for the next 20 years at least, and these short-term prices just don't matter. Now, midterms, we're going to have that economic boom we've been promising everybody. I think we saw that with the jobs numbers, 178,000, 3 times the expected number. It's happening. It's beginning. This war isn't going to hold it back. And I think that this war actually will result in that free Iran that becomes a net positive for the world instead of a net negative.
Love that insight, Rod. Love it. Go
And,
ahead,
and
Dean.
we're not when we get past the Iran thing, we're going to have to rebuild a lot, but we're not starting bringing stuff out of the ground. We're going to be repairing, and that means immediate supply demand. A lot of it coming from America. So, yeah, and Iran is actually helping us set up a massive economic expansion and explosion, pretty much, because when I noticed that they blew up a pipeline in Saudi Arabia yesterday, and that's going to have to get fixed. And some of that's going to come from America, those materials. Saudi Arabia doesn't make steel pipe. America does. And so all the damage and the carnage, including what's been going on in Iran, is going to have to be rebuilt. And when it gets rebuilt, much of that will come from America. You're talking about Caterpillar. You're talking about our chemicals factories. Used to be Control of Air Products. We sold stuff all over the world. So this is, and all the things Rod and I have talked about, the benefits of the one big beautiful bill, the tax returns are larger than I've ever seen them. That's happening now. We get past this inflation, and we've been watching true inflation. I watch it every day. Today's 1.68%. It's dropped a little bit, and 1% of that is oil. So 1% of that inflation came out as oil. It will come back off as oil when oil goes back down. So economic boom coming, just like Rod and I don't get to hit together ahead of time and make sure our opinions don't cross. But you're looking at it from 2 different perspectives and getting the same results. It ought to be listened to.
Yes, sir. Your guys' track record's been spot on ever since we've been doing the Business Pulse. And since we're talking about taxes, Dean, drop some tax knowledge on us as we wrap up this segment of the Business Pulse.
Well, one quick tip that many of our viewers could use is, how do you hire your kids in a way that does not create self-employment tax? Well, one is, if you're a sole proprietor, you can hire them anytime they're below 18 and neither side pays Social Security or Medicare. If you're incorporated or above 18, then the Supreme Court has ruled that doing one-off projects does not make you self-employed. So let's say you hired your 23-year-old kid who you're getting ready to spend money on going to college to paint your house, paint your office, replace your windows. And it's a one-off thing. He's not in business for that. Maybe he designed your website, not for everybody else, but for you. And you pay them the $20,000 they need to go to school. Now, for the kid, they're going to get I create a standard deduction, which is going to cover most of that $20,000, pay very, very, very little in tax, and it's going to come right off of the business return, which is going to come off like my dad's taxes. If you got a kid and you're not sure, if you got family members and you want to transfer money to them and you're a business owner, jump online, connect with my team. Let's have a conversation, show you how to do it the tax smart way. Because if you don't do things tax smart, you're probably doing them tax dumb.
And where can I love that slogan, by the way. That should just be all over billboards everywhere across America. Where can people connect with Dean Owen online?
OwenCPA.com. Jump online, connect with my team, send us some information. We'll send our free emails and newsletters out, and let's have a conversation so that we disinherit the government and not your kids.
And the Martin Report, where can people find you, Rod?
Come to rodmartin.org. That's rodmartin.org, where we do daily geopolitical analysis. Fox Business calls absolutely phenomenal. We've got tens of thousands of subscribers for our daily long form content. We've got hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. There's a reason. So come to rodmartin.org.
Great to be back in the saddle with you both. Missed it. Glad to be back here. We'll be back again next week in the Business Pulse. And I keep making little notes and checking boxes off as you guys give timelines and things that have happened. And your batting average is really good. So I look forward to seeing how we look getting into May and June as the big, beautiful bill really takes a hold and tax refunds are coming in. The economy's booming, job reports, oil's going to go down. You're learning about it here first inside the Business Pulse. Rod and Dean, thank you very much. In America, you have been inside the Business Pulse. Healthcare costs are crushing America's small businesses. Premiums have risen over 240% in the last decade, forcing companies to choose between growth and healthcare coverage. The Freedom Chamber, found online at freedomchamber.net, has a better solution: the Guardianship Healthcare Plan. Designed by a doctor who understands that strong care starts with a strong doctor-patient relationship. This plan puts people first while protecting your bottom line. With up to 45% annual premium savings, the Guardianship Plan delivers real care, real savings, and real freedom. Your business, your employees, your health plan needs the Guardianship. The Freedom Chamber Guardianship Plan. Get your quote today. Learn how your business can take control of healthcare. Visit freedomchamber.net. The Pro-American Business Network.